Okay, this is the reading for the Gemini male in a coupled relationship. So I have an anchor spread that I use, or that I made up here. Basically, you know, anchoring in a relationship. So I basically read the cards as they come. I'm using the Romance Tarot and then the Sex and Love Tarot, and we're just going to go through that for Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, Geminis. I'm going to get started. The first card I get for the Gemini male in a coupled relationship is the Seven of Canes. And the Seven of Canes in this deck is really, you may have a situation where these males are traveling, going away from home and coming back and having a, you know, I'm glad you're back, that kind of a feeling. That's really what I get a sense of from this card. So there may be some distance between you in the relationship. Either you or your partner is taking off for work or family. I don't feel it's anything negative. I feel it's just part of what's going on with you guys. There may be some distance between you, but you're more than, it kind of helps the relationship because you're more than happy to receive each other when you guys get back. So a sense of that in some way happening, whether it's, like I said, through work, one or the other person is going outside and having to have some distance. And it's like, oh, you get home, and or it may even be, you know, at the end of the day, happy to see you, happy you're home, you know, and that kind of a thing. So the Knight of Swords is the sex card I get attached with the Seven of Canes. So the Knight of Swords is really you being who you are, right? So the Gemini in his own element, and really in the sexual side of things, really taking charge and feeling. And I feel like this is more of a healthy thing. It's really in a way where he's starting to grow into his sexuality and feel very confident and potent in that. So that's the first time I've really ever felt that with this card, because usually it's a dominating. But nonetheless, that's the sense I get here, is he's growing into himself sexually, the Gemini male in the coupled relationship, feeling grounded in that. And the next card I get is the King of Canes. So this is interesting because the King of Wands, right, he's very powerful and fiery, and he's very confident in who he is, but to an ego degree. So we got to watch that. And then the next card I get on the sex side of things is the Devil. So really, when we get that next to these powerful cards, we got 3 in a row here that are kind of raunchy. We may be overdoing it. We may be in too much of an ego sense where we're overindulging either in the sexual side of things, that it may not be kosher with your partner, or just overindulging where it's really healthy to the point where it's past healthy for you. So be aware of that energy. Is pretty strong here. There's a sense of overpowering in the bedroom. So we want to be aware of that. The next card I get is 20, Judgment. So, and it's funny because it's looking towards the Devil and shouting. So it's like there's some kind of a call here that we've answered, but they're cheering, right? There's cheers. So again, that's really that sense I was getting from the male kind of coming into his own power sexually. So whatever relationship you're in, I feel like you're feeling potent in the physical side of things to the point where you are very much kind of universally supported. But we got to watch, because there can be an addiction that comes off of this. Like wanting it too much, that it sours things, okay? Let's just put it that way. Now, the next card I get of that kind of simmers things down with the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is really good. That's the beautiful emotional relationship that you want. That's the beautiful emotional feelings, the beautiful, it's all balanced. So it seems like we may have a little bit of, and it may be Valentine's Day itself. We have a couple here that just really indulges in everything that they want, but the male's taken over and he's showing his colors, and it may be just that day where we have our way, and then kind of goes back to a little softer in the bedroom. So that's good. That's kind of a little loop we see right off the bat. Because the Ace of Cups is really not forgetting about that sensitive, soft, emotional side. So that's good. Even though we have the Devil here, which is really kind of indulging in things that are more on the animalistic side, okay? But I'm going to carry on. The next card I got is 3, the Empress. So the Empress could be a significator of your partner. And the Empress is really the mother card, right? So you could have children and you could also have that mother looking after them. Beware, you may be in a zone where you can create more of that, more family. This woman in this deck, though, she doesn't seem to look too happy. But I'm going to disregard that because we've got, the dogs in the background basically symbolizing the ability for this woman to bear children. So there's a sense of that. And I get to, with the Ace of Cups, a high sense that can happen again. If you've got children, you maybe pregnancy, you may be fertilizing some ground here, right? So the wife being very, is fertile in that. And I feel not only the idea of fertility and the partner being abundant in that way, physically. So it makes me think that you have a match or someone that can keep up. You may be indulging on things a little over what you normally are good for, but it's giving you confidence. It's giving you emotional satisfaction, and your partner is really able to keep up. That's the sense I got here. It's doable. We're okay. And that's why it's not going too far off. That's why we're coming back to the Ace of Cups, because the partner can handle it. So it's okay. And then I get on the sexual side of things. I have to eat my words here. The Eight of Pentacles. So we have the Empress here, and I feel like that's the partner, the fertile ground that you have. And not only that, the abundance. You feel that they've got everything you need. They're carrying it all, and it's all there. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. So that's the physical, intimate side of the relationship. The Eight of Pentacles is about him approaching the woman, and the woman being disinterested. This card, there's another card where it's like they're back to back, where there's no talking. But I feel like the Eight of Pentacles here, I think you're making offers to her, and it may be on the sexual side of things. You may be going through a spurt, and I'm talking about like a hormone surge or something like that. You may be wanting to indulge in this, and I feel like she's good for it. She can handle it, but she may not want to, right? She's physically can handle it, but she may not want to mentally handle it or emotionally or whatever, because there's a disinterest here. But I feel like things can be talked through. We just need to maybe try a little harder to talk it through. But for some reason, there's a bit of I'm gonna have my coffee instead, so we got to watch that, because there's something here where it's going really good. We have the Ace of Cups, doesn't get any better than that. And then all of a sudden, maybe we overdid it and we're kind of running ourselves where we just don't want it that much anymore. Slow down a little bit so I can appreciate it. And that's that first card we came from, right? Which is having a little bit of distance makes the heart grow fonder, that kind of a feel. And it's like all of a sudden you get a hormonal surge and you go like rabbits. It's not as enjoyable. It seems more like a chore. I feel like that's what's going on here. So the next card I get is the Magician. So on the romance side of things, the Magician, right? He's got all the tools. He knows what he wants. So feeling very potent. This male is feeling very potent in the relationship. Feeling he's got all it takes, and he knows to a certain degree, I think, when he's making that offer to his wife and he's not, or girlfriend, and she's not quite all in, he knows, like, that's okay, I can handle it. We'll do it some other day. We'll go, it's in the grain of things, or, taken with a grain of salt. The next card I get is the Six of Pentacles to alleviate. Okay. Okay. So another thing here too I'm getting with this card that I just unraveled. The Magician, I feel like, not only because it's in the romance, right? It's more in the love sector. I feel like this man is really feeling his power. Not only in the romance area, but outside of that. I feel like he's really coming into himself and really feeling authentically where he can go and what he can do, and and feeling very powerful in that. And I feel like a lot of some feelings, like the partners on this side, and the male, the Gemini male, is on the other. And the Six of Pentacles is about having sadness and depression, and having to deal with that. And this person has been hurt before, so I'm not too sure. I'm getting a sense the partner, I feel like, to a certain degree here, I gotta watch how I say this, but I feel like the Gemini male is feeling a success to the degree the partner's not feeling that success. Not that they can't keep up, but there's something there that they're feeling like they're shying away from it, like they're blocking. They can't fully be appreciative of all of that. There's something that they're lacking, or something that they're having a hard time coming to terms with within their own selves. And I feel like it's really not your fault. It's just a pattern maybe that they've gotten themselves into. But the partner can't be all there for you, because there's some sense of something bringing them down. I feel like under normal circumstances they would, and they'd be right in there with you. But for some reason over this February period, there's something that is saddening them, and it's taking them out of the physicality of the relationship, taking them out of the closeness of the relationship. But I feel like the Gemini male is so chuffed about everything in his life going so good that it just transfers to everything in the bedroom, and he's just kind of not really taking any note. He's kind of going, well, that's okay, she'll get over it, da da da. So we might have to look a little deeper into that. Now, the next card I get is the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords is typically about loss, but we have two men and a female here. So it's almost a loss to somebody. You're losing your partner. And I don't want to say, Three of Swords, it's threesome, da da da, and it's all this bad stuff. I don't want to indulge in that, because there's a lot of lighter areas where people can be loyal and disloyal and not ruin a relationship. I think, there can be things where you, as lightly as turning to someone in confidence, talking, is a disloyalty to the relationship, but it's not something you can break the relationship about. But you may not have felt that you felt confident enough in your partner to deal with what you had to say, so you had to run it by someone else. And it may have been a male, or a female, the opposite sex, that that kind of thing. So it just, there's a disloyalty there, but it's not something you can break a marriage apart with. So that's kind of the feeling I'm getting here, is there's some kind of a confidence being shared with someone else, because they're not dealing with the partner themselves. And it's because there's a genuine sense that this partner can't handle it, or can't deal with it, or won't deal with it properly, right? So that's the sense I'm getting here with this Three of Swords, is that something happened here and it needed to be talked through, and it wasn't talked through with the partner, but somebody else. And we may have come to a conclusion. But nonetheless, the next card I get here is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is my creepy sex card. And that's really, which is interesting, because we've had some great indulgence here on the physical side, okay? Now we're getting down the road, there was the resistance to want to accept that. Maybe they were over, too much. And now we get the creepy side, which is because the Seven of Wands just really screams as somebody doesn't want it as much, but they're giving to it because the other person wants it. So there's that sense of, yeah, okay, they want it, so I'll give it. You know, it's part of the job. But these are because of feelings. There's an undercurrent of feelings here that aren't being discussed. So they need to do that, whether it's the Gemini male or their partner, that needs to be expressed. And I feel like it's the Gemini partner that is turning their back. So they really have to come forward and tell why. They have to make the Gemini male understand why. Because I think the Gemini male is kind of just, like I said, caught up in this good energy. Not necessarily, if they don't come forward and tell me, I'm not going to know. What am I going to, you know, how am I going to deal with it? I don't know. So that's their partner's responsibility. I think they need to come out with whatever's bothering them. I feel like there's something, you know, and it may not be directly at the partner. It may not be the male's fault per se, but it's something they need to discuss. So the next card I get is the King of Cups. So that's that compassion, right? And that's that loyalty and genuine emotional security within a relationship. Now, it's interesting because I'm getting there's a sense of somebody. So maybe there's someone that's emotionally stable, emotionally astute, right? And they're, you know, they're the person that maybe knows what's going on or is giving good counsel. You know, you may have someone outside of the relationship that is actually going to give some advice from a heart-centered, compassionate place. Now, it could also be the Gemini male, but I'm feeling like there's a split of the energy. I feel like the male's really not that he's not compassionate, but he's not in that king place. He's more of a knight. So whatever it is, it may be just a person outside of the relationship that either partner can talk to about it in a compassionate way, get compassionate answers, and help them deal with it compassionately. And then I have the Four of Wands. So, well, you know what? Let's stretch it out to being the partner. Now, if the partner comes across a compassionate wave here and you guys deal with things, the Four of Wands just signifies, yeah, okay, we're back on track. I fixed it and we went back and now we're having fun again. We're back in the bedroom and it's not overly done. It's back to normal, but everything's good and great and fun and wonderful. So somewhere along the line, some compassion had to come in from an outside source or from someone in the relationship. They had to open themselves up and get that banter, communicate what it was that was bothering, and then they get back on top of it. And I feel like they do. They, you know, maybe they turn to someone else and have to do their little dance, but eventually it gets talked about and discussed and buried and it's good. And it frees up both partners. Both partners are like, yeah, okay, that was it. It wasn't as bad as, you know, I feel like one of the partners kind of had it sitting in a box and it didn't need to be, you know, dealt with that way. It should have been dealt with openly. But for whatever reason, whether it's immaturity within the relationship, like thinking, you know, a partner can't have it when they actually could, or whatever, not having enough faith, whatever, but they came through it okay, so it's all good. The next card I get here is the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is really that grounded, sturdy partner. Now, I did feel like the Empress was your partner, and this could also be some of the traits that your partner endows, right, over this period, is feeling more stable, more grounded because of what you guys went through. You may have went through a rough patch, and you may have, like I said, either dealt with someone outside of the relationship, but got the information you needed, and then went back and talked to your partner about it, and then opened up when you felt safer, right? It may take a little time, you know, to a couple weeks or something before you actually turn, but I get the sense that you guys are grounding out and talking and doing what you need to do in that way. The next card I get after the Queen of Pentacles is the Two of Pentacles. And the Two of Pentacles, I kind of attribute that to, I mean, it can go either way. We can have someone sneaking up on someone, scare the shit out of them. But I get a sense here that there's, because they're making me take note of the star in the window. Like there's a couple here, like there's a man that wants to surprise the female. Man, and maybe for Valentine's Day. I can't rule that out, right? Having a surprise, like let's go do this, let's go do that. And it's really good and great and wonderful. Not only for the relationship, but for the two people. You know, it's very uplifting, and it makes them feel hope for the future, because I feel like the Gemini male can get caught up in his own workings sometimes and take for granted his partner's okay when his partner's actually not. They may be in a position where they're feeling a little sorry for themselves, and that kind of has to be dealt with, but he can, you know, whirl up a whirlwind of emotions where he just doesn't see that. And if she's not bringing it forward, he's definitely not going to see it. And that's the situation here. Is just she's kind of not wanting to bother him, and he's, you know, he's being all, you know, up in his happy. She doesn't want to bring him down. So that's really what happened there. And then after the blowout, you know, after he calmed down a bit and got a little more stable, she got in there and she said what she needed to say, and then it all worked out. And through that, somehow, I think the male is wanting to surprise the female with something, whether it's a situation or a time away, or, you know, let's do something different. Let's go, just the two of us, that kind of a thing. And it, like I said, it may be even around that Valentine's Day. Let's go out. Let's get a room. Let's go nuts, you know, that kind of thing. The next card I get in the last final is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is about affection, public affection, displays of affection, that kind of thing. The man is really kissing the woman's hand and really an appreciation. So I feel like there's a little bit of a karmic, maybe not karmic lesson, but a lesson through the relationship nonetheless, that brought them about 3 steps up the ladder just from the situation that came out. And really it was one person holding their feelings back because the other one's feeling happy. They don't want to rain on their parade, but at the same time, you know, but eventually it got dealt with in a manner that brought them to a better place than they were before. So the male really being appreciative of her coming forward for that, of the partner sharing the feelings that they needed to share. So there's, I don't want to say backlash, but there's a overcurrent of emotion where he's like, yeah, you know, I never, because he can be understanding to the highest degree, and she just never gave him credit for that. But now they're feeling it. Both of them are feeling the credit for that. So that's what I'm getting. And then the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is really about that freedom-loving relationship. And here, and the horse is going in the direction of the future. So I feel like they've gained a sense of freedom within their relationship that they didn't have before any of this started. And it's not a major thing. It's just really a point where one person is trying to accommodate the other person in the relationship to a degree that they're not letting them in fully on what's going on. Like, this person's sad. I'm getting a sad partner and an overly happy partner, and they're just not wanting to rain on the parade. And that's valid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So everybody sees that for what it is. And then we go in the future and it's like, you know what? They just want me to be happy. You know, they feel better for it. So it's all good. It's all gravy. It's all really a minor situation, but major confidence boost for the partner. I feel like the Gemini male is kind of, you know, starting to key into who he is, relationship-wise, physically, all of that. He's starting to key into those things. And the partner may not be exactly at that spot, but nonetheless wanting to appreciate that, but not feeling the full effects of it at that moment, just at that moment, right? It's not a match. So just being understanding of the other. I think it was a huge example of that, trying to be understanding of the other and having faith in the other partner. But really good, healthy energy for this Gemini male in a coupled relationship. It's really good. Good stuff happening for him, because I'm getting him like jumping and skipping, and just to the point where he's maybe not taking everybody's emotions into account, but eventually it comes through. Eventually it comes out. His partner speaks up and says, and that helps. That helps them get through, you know, little, like I said, it's not even a rough spot. It's just a little blip on the radar. So it's all good. Gemini male here in the couple, he's doing good. He's making progress. He's got to watch his aggression in the bedroom on the physical side of things, because it kind of goes awry. But nonetheless, I think he's got a competitive partner there. She can keep up, and she's going to try. But there's a certain point where you just got to, okay, that's enough. You know, it's too much, you know. So other than that, I feel a good sex life here, healthy. Everything's good on the romance side. There's some distance within the relationship. I feel like these people can be two individuals that are together, which is the most healthy. So I feel that's good. I feel that's grounded, and that you just can't get better than that. The Gemini male single, not so good. But the Gemini male in a coupled relationship that's committed, good. Very good. Solid, sturdy, and working towards any kind of, there's going to be no misgivings in the future, I feel, for this guy. He's really grounded, and he's willing to listen, and the partner is willing to speak up, and that's the thing. I think they found an equal mate here, and I think that's the point that it really needs to be accentuated, is that you really need to find that partner that fits you. And once you do, then things will just work out, you know. Like I say, little blips. So, happy Valentine's Day, Gemini male. Very good reading, probably the best so far. So, hope you have a good Valentine's Day and month. Take care, have fun, and be kind.